Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Cancer. If Cancer is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Six of Discs. And that has everything to do with success. Okay, let's see what we have here in these tea leaves. I had to look, I'm making sure. These are tea leaves, yes. All right. Okay, so let's see. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell icon thing. When you do, it'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. If you'd like to leave a comment or like the video, that is also so very welcome. Okay, let's see. So the first thing I saw was we have a person here. You can see the head, the body. They're carrying some kind of flower, their legs. It looks like they're even maybe, and I see that it looks like a little horn. So I kind of think of somebody kind of singing a song as they go along. And it seems like a journey of love for some reason, or merriment or enjoyment, something. There seems to be a reason to get moving, humming, singing, dancing a little bit in the kitchen, whatever it is. I feel like you are just in this very motivated state, joyful, little sprinkles of joy, maybe. Not all the time, maybe here and there. Let's not get greedy, right? A little bit of joy is more than enough sometimes. But yes, I see this and I think, my goodness, you are enjoying the season. You are doing well, or at least seeking to perceive wellness in your life, right? And what do I mean by that? That's kind of a silly way to say things, but yeah, looking at your life and finding reasons to think this is good. I'm grateful. I'm happy for where I'm at right now. There's going to be things wrong in everybody's life, and I think that you're in a place where you're just not dwelling on that stuff right now. Okay. Now, this looks like a flower. It doesn't look necessarily like what you would think of like a romantic bouquet, or, like the rose I like to think of a lot of times as the mysteries. But this looks like something that maybe you are getting ready to plant. And so what I envision is that you are, it's maybe, if you're in the northern hemisphere, it's probably a little early, right, for planting, although it's been a pretty warm winter. But I do think kind of sowing your seeds along the lines of this. But this in particular, because they are flowers, they are beautiful, and they bring sustenance to the environment, the little the little ecosystem you have going on around your temple. I think that there's a sense of really working towards harmony, okay, but also emotional, spiritual, financial abundance, okay. So I think that you are thinking long term. You maybe are starting a business, starting some kind of project, putting a lot of yourself into it. I think that, this is something that you have been dreaming of doing. This is something that you have, been putting off as well, because it's a big step. A lot goes into starting something for yourself. And maybe you already have a business, or this is, a side thing that you're starting at first. It's maybe will become your main job, right? Main income. But for the time being, I really do think that there is a lot of happiness, tenderness, and this is like a passion, okay? You're doing something that I think you could see yourself kind of spending the rest of your life doing, or at least until you maybe decide to retire, if that's what you're going to do. So really, yes, I think planting your own garden, right? And what a lovely thing that is. Okay, let's see. Now, we have this kind of, it reminds me of maybe some kind of, oh, you know what it was? Yeah, and this is, it's ridiculous that it reminds me of this, but when I was a kid, there was a show on Nickelodeon, and it was called, I can't remember exactly. It was like a temple, right, where there was like a race. You had to go through all this obstacle course up to the temple. And anyways, this face here reminds me of that kind of rock, kind of like a caricature of, more ancient cultures and possibly religions, and obviously it's probably religion, but beautiful artwork nonetheless, right? Something we can, when you think of these big, large engravings and their intricacies of the South American and in the jungles and so on, these ancient cities that we so eagerly await to see discovered. I know whenever I have like on my Google, you can set like search words or keywords that come up in the news and stuff, and yeah, definitely whenever a new city is discovered, or some antiquities or whatever it is, yeah, my thing goes off. So I'm always excited to see what they are finding, which they are always. So we also have right over here a person who is kneeling and making an offering. We also have a person behind them, and it looks like another person here and maybe another person here. So we do have a group of devotees. We also have this beautiful, and I'm not going to attribute this to any particular deity, mostly because I'm not super familiar with any besides, and this isn't South American, but the great spider goddess, right? That's one of the few. Although, there are others, and I'm not going to terribly pronounce, I'm not good at pronouncing the names. My brain sees these long, beautiful names, and I have troubles, and that's something I've been working on privately. But if you know anything about my channel, or if you watched it, I butcher words all the time. I am just, it is one of my great insecurities. So I don't gloss over words or names of things out of disrespect. It is because I have trouble. I do. I have trouble pronouncing and enunciating. And so, yeah, so that's what that is. So anyways, I see this kind of very ancient earthy god, right? Not unlike maybe even I think of like the mound builders and earth workers, and I feel like, well, we're working with discs here, so we know we're in this earth element, and I feel like there's just a sense of being so close to this material that you have in your hands, right? This beautiful gift from the universe, your ability to transform things. You are really good at taking these dreams, these inspirations, these concepts and ideas, inventions you've created in your mind, and you are able to manipulate matter to create. And this is something that I think you're probably really good at building. Maybe an engineer, or in technology of some kind, but really good at building hardware. You maybe are, you actually a builder of some kind, or an artist that works in a physical medium, or so on and so on and so on. But I think that you also have this awareness that it is something that you've had to devote yourself to refining your skills. It's, maybe some of it came naturally. Maybe, you were born with, or at a young age, you already had quite an ability to do the things that you excel at now, but to a lesser degree, of course. And you've really spent the time. You've spent so much time, so much effort, maybe even in education, years of it, and continued even out of school. You expand your skill set. You are very much married to this. It's not just a career. I mean, this is something that I feel like is very much even kind of a part of your persona, right? Your personality, your idea of yourself. You are very much part of what you do, and what you do is part of you. And I don't think you take issue with that at all. I think that you're very, proud of it. And I think that, you continue to put this effort in, and it begins to pay off. And maybe this has been the case for some time now. But I think you are getting into a place where you are becoming quite seasoned and masterful. And I can see you being able to take the same properties of what you do, what you love, what you have built up, and applying them to other maybe business models, other skill sets. You are expanding. You are, becoming quite expansively knowledgeable and with great ability. And I think that this is the thing that really drives you, where, some people might be so driven by money or love or, other kind of base things. I think that for you, it is really this pursuit of mastering mastering different things that you can spend your time with. Nothing makes you happier than being in that place where you feel like you are immersed completely in your thinking, in your passion at the moment, at your fixation, your obsession. That is your happy place. And I think, this is really a time where you have become pretty grounded. Now, you are an emotional being, of course, but I think that in this place, you have really, you've tempered yourself quite a bit. There's a lack of these high highs and low lows, holding on to maybe anger, resentment, or just impulse, I think often you can bring it into yourself and you hide it well, but it's there. Sometimes it's simmering right at the surface there. But I feel like you've just made so much effort to not be ruled by these things. And I think you've done that by letting them go and putting that energy into places that are more productive for you. Really living in that concept of sublimation, which is where we take our unsavory aspects of self, our desires, our inclinations, our faults and taboos and whatever it is, things that we don't want necessarily. It's not unlike, it is the shadow really, right? And we put them into something that we create. Some kind of work, some kind of movement. So that we can not just expel this from ourselves, because you can't. But you put it to use. And through that working it out, instead of just shoving it down, it becomes something else. It does not become, some kind of pathology. It doesn't become something that overtakes you, that you are imprisoned by. It is something that you know about yourself and you put it into something that is benign, something that maybe is even very useful. And that's so important, especially when we have difficulty being able to share our emotions with others, or kind of confront these aspects of self in a more active and direct manner. Okay, let's see. So we also have a hook. I'm like, okay, is this a question mark? It looks like a hook, like a meat hook. I think of the butcher. And I'll tell you, years ago I came up with my, I thought I will have 3 great periods of my life. And they will, be led by these archetypes. And these archetypes will be for myself, and I just want to share this, because when I see that, it makes me think of this, which I haven't thought of in quite a while. But my 3 archetypes of life are the orphan, okay, and then the bride, Okay. And then the butcher, and that will be the last. And so, I look at this and I think, I've thought so much about this archetype of the butcher, and this not unlike the warrior in some ways, in the processing, the dressing and processing, the butchering, in having the ability to go where most would not, the ability to work within the things that we turn our head to. We don't want to look. It's hard. It's hard to look at. I don't want to look at this. I don't want to work with this. I don't want to know anything about this process. It breaks my heart. And it does. But, sometimes, and this could apply to many different things. For me, it is death, the death process. Because I've been around so much death. I have had my own experiences with NDEs. And so, it's something that I don't like. I don't want to think about it every day. Of course not. But it is one of the main driving forces in our psyches, right? Well, that's one thing. But for it to be actually in the manifest world, in our physical world, we don't witness death that much. We don't see the process of it. We don't see the aftermath of it. And so we turn our head. There's even, and I've been around a lot of death in my life, and I am ashamed to say this, but even when there's somebody I know in my life who has had a death in their family, or somebody very close to them, I want to support them, but there's one little part of me, I feel, and I think it's just like a thing that we have maybe left over for survival reasons, but you are almost kind of, standoffish a little bit. Some part of yourself, a little bit like, stay away from this situation of death here, but we override that, hopefully, and can be there for the people we love. But my point is, I look at it and I think, to me, it's like the butcher is like somebody who I have thought about going into working as a death doula, somebody that assists families in the end stages of somebody's life, being a support, not unlike a birth doula. So I look at this and I think, whatever it is that you have the ability to do, it is something that most people cannot. They just don't have it in them. It's something that it takes a very unique kind of person to be around, to immerse themselves in, to, give your heart and passion to. You are empathetic. You are a caring person of service. And whatever it is that is for you, you do it well. This is something very, it's a delicate thing. And it shows your strength and your capacity to give of self. And that's a beautiful thing. You might think this has nothing to do with a butcher. Well, all of it is, to me, somebody who spends their time preparing, and however you feel about people, you know, with animals and consuming animals, that's not exactly what I'm talking about, but okay. So, but somebody who prepares with love and respect, right? The respect of these things, and feeds people, right? Gets the food prepared. You know, this is something that is difficult for most people, right? I would not be able to do it myself, you know, even though I cook a lot, right? And I handle all kinds of things. It's difficult for me. I just am very sensitive, but I have a lot of respect for those who take care in these processes. Okay, so that's how those relate. I know sometimes the way that I speak, it's a little tricky. I am neurodivergent. That's the other thing I'll mention about how I speak, is it kind of goes around the long way sometimes. So thank you for following with me here. Now let's see, I'm just looking at this as a cloud, and it has a 12 in it. So we have a 12. We also have a boot up here. We have a feather. We have an acorn and maybe another boot. Okay. So, this seems like some kind of puzzle. What kind of puzzle here? But I think that there is this sense of, a divine energy. And I look at the shoes and I think, you know, it feels like spirit is so much in your life. Really, I feel like it is so restorative. I feel like with these shoes, I think of like you've been dreaming deeper dreams. You've been sleeping better. You know, you're feeling a little more rested and able to face the day. Now, with the feather, I'm thinking, yes, this is a time for writing. If you do any kind of writing, journaling, keeping record of your life, I think that this is a perfect time. I think you're right in the headspace to really apply yourself to that. And I really do think that you will thank yourself years from now for putting in that work, even if it seems silly at the time. And then the acorn, again, with this idea of planting, of, building something lasting and beautiful and of great substance and sustenance for your life and your journeys and your passions and so on. So really, I mean, you are just in a place where you are setting yourself up for success, and life is really coming together in a way that I think that maybe you had not envisioned for yourself. Maybe little whispers of hope, right? But I can imagine that you wouldn't let yourself linger in it for very long. Well, you are surprising yourself. You are doing so much and so well compared to maybe what you had thought. And, I'm glad to see that. Okay, now we have a person here, and now this was kind of with the water. It looked like a heart. Well, now it's moved. It looked like a heart, and then it was kind of breaking apart. So I do look at this and I think, now this is kind of shifted, and we have a person with another person. And I feel like there is a sense of, there's a sense of of love enduring even a separation. I feel like maybe there is a sense of, heartbreak. And I feel like there's a sense of like not moving on. But trying to figure out a way to get over this thing, right? This relationship, this person, but there is love there, and there continues to be love there, and there will always be love there. But I think that it really is kind of this deal where it works. It works in the mind. It works in the memory. It is something that is beloved and divine and, wholly whole, but it can not be played out in the physical world in the way that you need it to be. And I think it just ends up, you break up, you get back together, back and forth, and it's just, you can't find common ground. There's just this sense of arguing, feeling like they get their hooks into you and try to control you or whatever it is, I don't know, enchant you. and I don't think that's what it is, but I think that you're so in love. But it's just, you're two people that don't make sense, at least right now in your life. And I think that, I think that they're probably somebody who's a little domineering or controlling. And I think that that's something that really you take such issue with, which, that makes sense. And it's something that just you cannot abide. And so, I think that it's a sense of really needing to, at some point, if this will ever end, just kind of letting go of contact. And really, it's hard, especially if you have like a friends group or, anything like this. So, I think it's a process and it is happening. Don't keep breaking your heart, though. At some point, it's like you're breaking your own heart, really, and it becomes so destabilizing when it just continues on and on and on and on. So, there's that at the end. But, and I don't mean to laugh, but I understand. I get it. I think we've all gone through periods of times in relationships. I know when I was young, it wasn't, I didn't always make great choices. So, I get it. And it is tiring. So, let's see. We're going to go over here. We're going to do the divine doors. And these are like little oracle cards. I used to use them, it seems like years ago now. It's only been some months, but gosh, it seems like a long time ago. And we'll just flip through here and we'll see what this says. It says, a note on love. Seek different seasons and enter into the unknown. When love is the focus, foundation, and goal, blessed is the body, mind, and soul. When love is the focus, foundation is the goal, blessed is the body, mind, and soul. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I like that. These are cool. They're little doors, and then they have different, some of them are kind of like that. Some of them are like little, what you should do today. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to use them for a minute. I like them. Okay, Cancer, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. Also, if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I'd love to hear from you. And with that, I will say good night. I love you. Take care. We will talk in just a few days.